today I'm going to share with you how I make iced coffee. This is the one I'm going to be making, and it is caramel flavored. I'm using the Sweet Leaf Stevia Sweet Drops in the English toffee. These are fantastic because they're sweetened and flavored. You can get these at Sprouts, at Whole Foods, many grocery stores carry them, and you can also get them online at Amazon for a really great deal, and they're cheaper on Amazon, just so you know. There'll be links down below if you want to go check them out to give an idea of all the different flavors that they have, because they also have fruit flavors. And then I add whipping cream because just a little bit of whipping cream makes it just right. I have switched from almond milk to cashew milk in my, so I use this in most of my recipes, and I also use this as a creamer in my coffee, which is really good. And then I also have espresso. Now this is what I have from a whole pot that's left over. I've already made two. So if you don't have espresso, it's just really, really strong coffee is all espresso is. If you don't have an espresso pot, you could just use regular coffee, and you could use flavored coffee to give it that flavor that blends well with whatever sweetener you use. But if you just use your plain stevia or pure or any of the Trim Healthy Mama gentle sweet or super sweets, you could add extracts to it, whatever flavor you want, or you can just use your cup of regular coffee. So now let's get showing how I make it. So here we have is a quart jar, and I put some ice in it, just roughly about a cup or less of ice. I'm going to pour into it my espresso, which I measured out about 1/4 of a cup of espresso. You can use cool down coffee that is a cup of coffee. And then I added my cashew milk, which is a cup of cashew milk. And I added a few splashes of whipping cream. It probably measured out to be about 2 tablespoons. It just adds a creaminess to it that is just so delightful. And then for my sweetener, I used the English Toffee Sweet Drops from Sweet Leaf Stevia. And as I mentioned, they are both sweetened and flavored. So because I'm using espresso, I've noticed that I need a little bit more sweetener so it's not bitter. So I just did 2 little droppers full of that. And then you just stir it up and you get to enjoy it. This is a great little snack on a hot afternoon to have, or if it's a really hot morning, and you got to give it a good stir. And it's so refreshing. We each make our iced coffees different, and this just happens to be the way that I make mine, and of course I also make messes. What is a good drink without a mess? But you just get your Norwex rag and you can wipe it up like I did here, and then voila, it's all clean. So that's the way I make my iced coffee, and you could double this by adding a 1/2 cup and then 2 cups of the nut milk, or you could just use a cup of coffee that is cooled, and that would make the same thing. So there you have it. That's how I make my iced coffee. If you would like exact measurements, you can go ahead over to my blog, cookiecrumbfun.com, and you can see the recipe for exact ingredients, and you can also find a link below to that. If you want this iced coffee to be more of a meal, you can add collagen or whey protein. This is the whey protein that I use. And a little tip for Trim Healthy Mamas, when you're looking for whey protein, you need to find one that is extremely low in fat and carbs, basically has none, and also there's no concentrate in the ingredients. So look in the back of it and look for the ingredients, and if it says isolate and concentrate, that's not on plan. That's not the one that you're looking for. You're going to want one that is isolate, just like it says right here. And this one I find is like second best to the Trim Healthy Mama one, because it is also cross microfiltered like the Trim Healthy Mama one, like their pristine protein powder. But this is what you can use. You can also add the flavored if you want a chocolate. If you want a mocha, you can add the Trim Healthy Mama chocolate protein powder to it. And I'm just not a chocolate and coffee fan, so I don't usually add that. But my children do. And this is just the basic way of making it. Now, it only makes the 1/2 of the quart jar. So if you want to double it, you could. Now, if you used a cup of strong coffee, because I'm using espresso, I'm using less. So I'm getting a smaller amount. If I doubled this, I would get a larger jar. But this is basically equivalent to like a cup of coffee. So if you want more, you can just use your cup of coffee, as I mentioned, instead of the espresso, and it would come out a little bit more. I would love to know if you make this and how you like it, and if you've tweaked it at all, and share with me and everyone else how you make your iced coffees. Thanks so much for watching, and be a blessing.